Welcome to RAF 12, technically 13, but we had one international event, but this is amazing. Here we are 1 year later. I was just talking to Bo Nickel and Jason Nolf. They were on the first card, and I was making a joke with Izzy too. We were walking, we were at a bar last year for our press conference, and now we're in a ballroom, and it's a year later, and it's an incredible feeling. I think when we started this, including ourselves, no one knew where this was going. We knew we loved wrestling, and we knew that we had a mission. And Izzy, myself, and Eric, we're all top, very focused individuals. So we knew we weren't going to fail, but I don't think anyone else, knew that. So here we are a year later. It's an incredible feeling. I'm from Cleveland. When we started this, Hulk Hogan, we were at the Cavs game, and he said, "Brother, the audience here is special." And he wanted to have our first event. So we're here in my hometown. I'm very excited to be here. We're at Rocket Mortgage tomorrow, which we started at the Wolstein Center. Anyone from Cleveland knows Rocket's where the big shows happen. So we're very pumped about that. And I also want to thank our team, which is we wouldn't be here without our team. Our team is incredible. All the athletes know our team, and I think we've developed a really amazing culture. And I also want to thank the athletes who have taken chances on RAF and come here, and they all step on that stage, win or lose, and really just put it all out there for this sport. So we thank them. Lastly, I just want to thank my family, because my wife and my kids, they've allowed me to sacrifice my life the past year to really do this. And I wouldn't be able to do without them. And I'm going to pass it off to my amazing partner, Izzy. And Eric's not on the press conference with us, but I also want to thank him for also sacrificing all he's done as well.
What a year. The year was, it's crazy because it's fast forward and we're here, and we're not slowing down. We're super excited to see what teamwork, what belief, and no fear can do. And that's some of the standards that a lot of these young men and young women grew up in the sport of wrestling. So, that's kind of the same idea me and Chad and our team had moving forward, right? It's just be resilient, be stubborn, know you're heading in the right direction, and stick together. And that's what we've done. We've heard a lot of people on the outside, good or bad. We just kept going forward, just like these wrestlers do at every one of their institutions, and every one of their coaches are telling them that. Put the blinders on, sprint. And that's what we're doing. Our blinders are on, and we're sprinting for the sport of wrestling, the greatest sport in the world. Like I said last time when I was here, it's exciting, and I thank everybody for coming. So let's keep it rolling.
Thank you, guys. We'll take a couple of questions. We'll start with you, Mike.
Can't hear you, Mike.
I know. It's obviously been quite the run for you guys. It's been 1 year, and like you said, it's been kind of all gas, no brakes. Have you guys had a chance to at least reflect a little bit on what you guys have accomplished over this last year?
I think, I go back to being in my office in Tampa with Izzy, and when we started this, we said, we're going to go at it full force and just keep going. I think, we don't take time. Yeah, we reflect that we've definitely changed the sport in the best way possible. I think the coolest thing is, what the youth community is coming out. And I think our goal was to make sure that athletes had the ability when they, just like NFL and the NBA and the MLB, when you graduate college, you have the opportunity to go make a real living in the greatest sport. And I think that for us, we accomplished that, and we got to continue to accomplish that. So I think, we don't take many breaks. We just got to keep going. But yes, we're excited and we're proud that we were able to be in an arena tomorrow where we're going to have 10,000 fans watching the greatest sport in the world.
Reflection's interesting. As you're sprinting forward, you're reflecting, and you're trying to use those reflections to make changes to get yourself and your team into a better position, right? So, yeah, as we're reflecting, we're not usually thinking about that as like, oh, we're doing so well. We're thinking about it as like, we got to do better. We got to fix this. We got to fix that. And we've done that. We've got the best wrestlers in the world. Jordan Burroughs is here today, which is pretty pumped for me. big fan of Jordan growing up, you know, just even though I'm older than him, you know. But just in general, guys, the reflection is just about focusing on figuring out what our team has to do to get better and continuing to improve and put on a bigger show for the greatest sport in the world.
And obviously, there's been a lot of moments, right, that have sort of transcended across the sports world and the combat sports world. Ben Askren in Milwaukee and everything that was such an emotional moment. But I think another one that sticks out competitively is the first match between Merab and Henry Cejudo and the way that ended, and Merab coming back. And I know we're gonna hear from Henry in a little bit, but from your perspective, what was that moment like that first time, and how upset was Henry based on the result of that?
I mean,
Damn, Henry.
Ask that question.
Henry, I was telling Henry yesterday, his eyes were glossed over in that second period. I mean, it was I mean, like Henry said, I don't think anyone lost in that match because, I mean, it was for wrestling. Henry lost, but for wrestling, it was great, right? It was, I think when we were in Georgia, that was our first international event, and it was unbelievable. Georgia treated us really amazing when we were down there. From the Prime Minister, the Ministry of Sport, Lotto and his team really working with us. But it was Merab and Henry's match, but every match in that arena, if you were there, it was wild. The audience there was so engaged. It was like they felt like we were at the World Cup. And Bischoff, he'll get mad at this, but he almost cried outside because there were so many fans there that came to see this. And I thought that match was incredible, but every single match, the crowds went wild in that arena.
Yeah, you know, putting on this card, you're like, man, this is the anniversary card. You know, we got to put on the biggest card of all time for the sport of wrestling. And then we're like, you know, Miami's around the corner, then the next one, the next one, and the next one, you know. So we were able to do that. We put the best wrestlers in the world on this card. Who's not excited for watch Evan Wick and Jason Nolf get back after that one?
Yeah.
I mean, we got hometown legend, even though he's not from Ohio State, but we got Jesse Mendez on the card, you know, Ben Davino. And, you know, the real GOAT, Gable Stevenson, you know. And which is really cool is the GOAT, yeah? Not the GOAT? One of them? Yeah, there we go. But what's always interesting for me is just been able to be a coach before all this, even though I have a part-time coaching job now, not full-time. It's just been a blessing for me because I was able to, 10 years ago, maybe 11 years ago, I was able to meet a young man named Will Lewan. And I met Will Lewan, and he became my student. And I trained him every day for about 10 years. He ended up winning the cadet world title, going to the University of Michigan. And when it was time to find someone that wanted to wrestle cadet, nobody wanted to. But I knew there was one crazy guy with a great coaching staff and a great environment around him at Michigan that was willing to do it. So it's a pleasure to have Will Lewan, my former student, on this card, and I'm super excited to have him and Kennedy. So yeah, let's go.
All right, guys, thank you so much. All right, we're gonna go ahead and bring up group one. We have Kadeep, Will Lewan, Masanosuke Ono, and Ben Davino. Woo! All right, we'll take the first question. Go ahead.
This one's for Ben.
Yeah.
So Ben, you're a four-time state champion, NCAA finalist, and Big Ten champ. Where would this match and a win here with RAF compare to your other accomplishments?
I mean, this is a huge match. Ono's no joke. He's showed that he's one of the best in the world. And I mean, a win here would be huge for me. Yeah, I'm just super excited for the opportunity to wrestle a guy like that who's won at the biggest stages, and it's going to be exciting. So yeah, it would be a big one for sure.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Kitty, right here.
Right over here.
I got the chance to talk to you and meet you after RAF Indiana, and we had a conversation, and you said to me, all American wrestlers wrestle the same. Do you still feel that way today, a year later, sitting in that seat? Or do you think Will's going to bring the same type of pressure and the same type of attacks as all American wrestlers?
For me, all American wrestlers is same wrestlers. I give respect for every my opponent, but it was my last match. I had good, not good shape. Now I stayed here 1 month. I have good shape. It was my very good camp. Tomorrow I'm gonna show very good wrestling match.
Follow up, Will. What do you got to say to that? You the same as everybody else, or what are you gonna bring to it?
Man, I don't think it matters what he thinks. I know I'm gonna bring it Saturday night, and I can't wait to put on a show and show everyone what I'm about. So,
Appreciate you.
All right, we have a question here in the mic.
Hey Ben, this question's for you. How much does your experience in American folk style scrambling help you against an international opponent?
I feel like it depends where the match takes us. I mean, you don't always have to scramble, but I mean, it helps me when I get in those funky spots. So, having wrestling folk style my whole life definitely lets me be a little bit more dynamic with my defense, I'd say.
All right, we have a question here.
Questions for Masanosuke Ono. Ben's one of the elite wrestlers in college right now. What does this match mean to you, and how have you prepared for it?
I mean, I'm not compete last 2 years, so I'm just excited about tomorrow night. So I mean, just wanna wrestle, you know.
Thank you.
All right, we have time for one more question. Here you go.
This question's from the Deepwater podcast for Ono. What's it like to wrestle freestyle again? Are you excited to get back out there after 2 years?
Sorry, one more please.
Are you excited to wrestle freestyle again? And what's it like to not wrestle after 2 years? Are you excited?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited about freestyle too, but I don't think about like next thing. I just think about tomorrow, you know.
All right, great. Thank you guys so much. All right, we're gonna go ahead and bring up group 2. Asu Amabaya, Johnny DeJulius, Tony Cassiope, and Gable Steveson. Okay, great. We'll go ahead and take questions. Right here in the front.
Question for Johnny. You're back in your hometown of Cleveland, and you get Tom Mitch to coach you, one of your best friends, tomorrow. What does this moment mean for you?
It's pretty special. I grew up in Cleveland. Me and Ty, he's here somewhere. He was my. We actually went to the same practice, at 5 years old together. My mom brought both of us. Our moms did. Kind of ironic you bring that up. My mom, unfortunately, kind of starting off the press conference kind of deep. She passed away when I was 16. But tomorrow I get to compete on her birthday, and that's pretty special. So, yeah, I get to wrestle in my home state with my best friend in the corner on my mom's birthday, and that's gonna be fun.
Question for Gable. Do you think the transition from MMA and wrestling going back and forth is affecting you at all?
No, I don't think so. I just think it's wrestling and MMA is pretty much the same thing, just mixed martial arts as a whole thing. Just being out there and competing in wrestling keeps me active for the MMA scene, so it's a great addition.
How soon do you see yourself competing for a UFC championship?
I would like to say as fast as possible, but I would like to get my reps in, make sure the people know I earn my respect and earn my time in the octagon. And when that time comes, I must definitely be ready.
Thank you.
I got a question right here for Gable. This should be the easiest question in the world for you. Your last name is Steveson, right?
Yes.
Okay, I just make sure because I hear it said Stevenson several times. So Steveson, that's the only question I got for you because you're the man. Johnny, you are recently engaged. Congratulations, dude.
Thank you.
And Yes. You're an actor, you're a business owner, you're an extreme sports guy. What keeps bringing you back to wrestling and RAF, man?
That's a great question. So I feel like motivation is not predicated on external variables. However, like in wrestling or in life in general, a lot of us, kind of a misconception about motivation is external variables should be the driving force. And what I mean by that is, obviously a lot of wrestlers in here, we coach a lot of kids, we work with kids, and we see a lot of kids relying on external motivators like, oh, they doubt me. Or, oh, you know what? My opponent beat me last time. Or, oh, my dad came into practice and he's watching. So I like to think of motivation as fire. We use fire as an allegory all the time. I'm fired up, I'm burnt out. And what does lighter fluid do to a fire? It gets it going for maybe 5 seconds. An external motivator is like lighter fluid. If I am only motivated by doubt, what happens after I win states and now everybody believes in me? Right? Lighter fluid can never be your flame. My flame is internal. And the strongest internal motivator in the world is love. I fucking love this shit.
Question here for Tony. Right here, Tony. This is with Gable Stevenson, someone who you've wrestled. How many times is it? 5 times in your college career? So someone you're familiar with. With you staying in the sport of wrestling, and Gable kind of, he's one of the greatest of all time, but bouncing around in other endeavors, do you think that's allowed you to close the gap in this next matchup?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big opportunity to see the growth I've had in the last, 4 years since I last wrestled him. Obviously, I've been in wrestling, doing wrestling those whole 4 years while he's been kind of doing other things. So yeah, it's a big opportunity to kind of see the ground I've gained.
Definitely. And with a lot of people don't know, you have a legit boxing pedigree. I think it was in high school. Do you think that this fight or this wrestling match might even make more sense down the line if you ever transition to MMA? Could you see that happening?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of always something that's been in the back of my mind, potentially. Yeah, I boxed for 7 years. My dad's great uncle's in the Boxing Hall of Fame. So yeah, boxing, fighting, those types of things are definitely appealing to me.
Thank you.
Question for Izzy, and then I'll have one for Gable. Izzy, Edson Barboza just retired from the UFC, and one of the things about him is they say he has the strongest and the hardest resume, hardest strength of schedule ever in the UFC. I know Tony and Gable have history, but is Tony the Edson Barboza of RAF? Because it feels like every single matchup he's in is just an absolute murderer's row.
It's crazy because we have such a pool of wrestlers that we get to choose from. And if everyone doesn't know, we signed every Olympic champ in 2024. But no matter how badass some of these guys are, they don't want to step up to wrestle certain guys. But just like Will Lewan and Kennedy Blades and Jesse Mendez, I've watched Tony Cassiope grow up. And I watched him grow up since a young man. He was chubby, and then all of a sudden he got really thin and started kicking everyone's ass and was just such a fierce competitor. I've been able to be friends with his father and his mother and his sister I actually trained before. And I just knew their mentality of the type of family and people they are, that they never back down and they always want to test themselves and challenge themselves. So when it was time to find Gable a partner, a sparring match here, a wrestling match, it was a no-brainer because I knew Tony wouldn't say no, and I knew that he's training extremely hard. Even though he's wrestled some of the hardest wrestlers in the world, he's actually done pretty well. If you look at his first match in his first competition, he pushed him, and he was in that match to win. I'm not doubting Gable obviously at all, but we don't like to dog Edson Barboza because that's just what a warrior and a legend, and I think that's a positive thing when you talk about Edson, right? Like, he's the warrior that's been through the rest and battled the best. And hopefully Tony can keep going and challenge the best wrestlers in the world, because that should be anybody's dream to have the opportunities that he's been able to have.
Well said. And then for you, Gable, Tony said that all of your endeavors may have closed the gap a little bit from your previous encounters. What's your response to that, and how do you feel differently here?
I've been on a lot of endeavors, just some crazy ones. But I remember I came back in 2023 to wrestle at the US Open, and I probably practiced for like 3 weeks, and I tech fought everybody in that tournament. And that just shows you who Gable Stevenson is. I can show up at any time, any place, and practice for the least amount of time and still go out there and dominate. And I like Tony as always. We wrestled so many times in college. He's always a fierce competitor, as Izzy says. So all the respect to him. But tomorrow I plan on winning, and I keep it moving from there.
This question's for Gable, True Blogs here. Gable, whether it's Tony, doesn't matter who it is everybody that you face here on out just another stepping stone before you get to steal the belt from Wyatt Hendrickson?
I would love to steal the belt from Wyatt Hendrickson, and I feel like a lot of people keep talking about that match, and I feel like I embarked this on the last time. Just not the best match for me, not the best day. I enjoy Wyatt as a wrestler. I enjoy him as a human, and hopefully he can go out there and win many world titles and Olympic titles for USA Wrestling, as long as I'm not there. And but I enjoy his company. I enjoy his competition. Hopefully he does the best for himself.
We have a question here.
Anton Payne. I got a question for you about wrestling, Johnny specifically. He's a wild guy, but you come from the fighting world. Is there anything that you think you can do? You're known as the grappler. Is there anything you think you can do on the wrestling mat that's going to give fits to Johnny DeGilius?
Постараюсь все сделать, правильно, бороться, насладиться. Если мой оппонент у меня 1 балл возьмет, я ему шоколад подарю, казахстанский.
I'm gonna try to do everything. I'm gonna try to do my best. I'm gonna enjoy the fight, the wrestling, and I gotta give him a Kazakh chocolate for every single point that he gotta from me.
All right.
All right, great. Last question here.
Asu, question for you, right over here, right in front.
You can stand.
So you're making your RAF debut. You also recently signed with ACBJJ. Are you planning on taking kind of the Arman Sarukian route, where you're competing in a lot of grappling matches in between fights in the UFC?
Да, везде хочу попробовать. Я в стиле борьбы хорошо себя чувствую. Завтра покажу себя с новой стороны, как бы сказать. И потом будем бороться грэпплинг. Это как бы буду с новым видом спорта буду ознакомливаться здесь.
I feel good in every grappling, wrestling, everywhere. So I'm gonna try to do everything tomorrow.
All right, great. Thank you guys so much. We're going to bring up group number 3. Vladimir Kinchikashvili, Jesse Mendez, Evan Wick, and Jason Knoll. All right, we're ready to take questions. Anybody have a question? Here we go. Great. Go ahead.
This one for Jesse. With the court ruling in favor for the 5-5, do you plan on returning to Ohio State?
Yeah, so obviously I'll take another year in college, but with the ruling being, the appeal being stay, I'm gonna have to file, an individual injunction. But whatever happens, if I get another year, I'll take it. But if it doesn't, I'll just do exactly what I plan on doing and going to win some World Olympic titles.
Ready question here?
Evan, right here, Anton Payne. You obviously got this victory last time, and I'm online a lot, and I read a lot of stuff. You're an incredible wrestler. People seem to be putting like an asterisk beside that, saying, well, we'll see next time. What do you got to say to those people? Was that legit? What's going on?
I knew where you were going before you even started there. It's been on my mind for the last year. I think that even though I beat him, a lot of people still don't think that I'm as good as him, and I'm excited here. I feel like the underdog still, even though the last time I beat him. And I'm excited for this match to prove to everyone that I'm going to do it again.
Awesome. Thanks, Bob.
I'll say it too. It was a legitimate win. There's no excuses. He was better than me that day, so I don't think that there's an asterisk there at all.
Thank
you.
Won't be tomorrow either.
Shane.
Good win.
This question's for Jason. Jason, you and Wick wrestled last year, and yeah, you got a win over you. But do you think having, you spent a lot of time with jiu-jitsu, you fought Tackett, does taking time off and focusing on jiu-jitsu, obviously you're coaching kids now too, but does that play any effect of your wrestling ability, wrestling on a big stage like that against the guy that's, wrestled at Final X, he's been a representative, he's been on the national team since you stepped away to coach?
Yeah, I think that he's had a lot of great wins. He's a great wrestler, and I had to prioritize wrestling more in this last year than I was planning to. I've only trained jiu-jitsu maybe 2 or 3 times in the last 6 or 7 months, so I'm mainly just wrestling now and training, and I got back to my lifts and conditioning, and I feel in great. I feel in better shape now than I was when I was training for the Olympics. So I'm more prepared than ever right now. I'm excited.
Question for Vladimir, back on an RAF card once again. You had the pace with Bo Bassett. You came back in Georgia with a big win. Now you got Jesse Mendez, another guy that's really physical with a high pace. Have you seen Jesse wrestle? And what do you think will be most important to knock off a guy like him?
He said thank you, and I watched his wrestling. I know he's a tough guy. He's also younger than me, and I just want to show my best wrestling and see you tomorrow on the mat.
All right, we have time for one more question. If anybody has one? Right here.
This is for Jesse. This is Ohio Wrestling News and Events. I'm Jason. You're here in Ohio competing against an Olympic champion. Share a little bit about what you're feeling. It's your debut here at RAF.
Yeah, I'm super blessed to be here. This is an awesome organization, and if you would have told somebody 10 years ago we'd have something like this, you wouldn't believe it. So, I'm in a really blessed time to be a wrestler, and I'm excited to wrestle an Olympic champ. These are the type of matches I want. I want to wrestle world and Olympic champions, and I'm just really excited to show what I'm about, and I want to be the best in the world. So I'm trying to take those steps to get there.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you guys so much. We're going to bring up our next group. Kennedy Blades, Joaquin Buckley, and Tyron Woodley. You guys, Diana remains on the card. She is just not able to join us for the press conference. So we'll go ahead and take the first questions. Here you go.
Tyron Woodley, I'm here with Hustle Streams. My name is Jacob Schultz. So since your release of the song, I'll Beat Your Ass, you have not yet beat any ass. So how excited are you to beat his ass tomorrow?
That's the weird way of framing that question. I was gonna say I was gonna beat your ass. I feel like you can dance around it, or you can address it head on. I feel like life has so many lessons. Like, you can only lose if you don't learn from it. So I feel like when I was a champion in the UFC, I was living a crazy rock star lifestyle. I was planting a lot of seeds in the ground that really didn't manifest well for me. And you got to eat shit sometimes when you live that kind of life. And I feel like since then, I've restructured my life. I know what's important. I know who I really am. And I'm excited to wrestle. Like, it's not just wrestling Joaquin Buckley, but I haven't wrestled an actual wrestling match in 16, 17 years. And these, what's over here got me off the couch and want to wrestle. And I feel like I forgot how much discipline it took. I forgot how much I love the sport. And when you can wrestle on a professional level and you can control your own schedule, all you college wrestlers, what Coach say, you do. You don't have a choice. You don't have a choice if you're overtraining or if you're injured and you have to still go out there and wrestle. So for me, it's just good to be able to get out there. It remotivated me. I shedded like 20 to 30 pounds of Karate Man fat that was sitting on my stomach, and now, I want to do it more. I was just going to dust it off and wrestle one time for the one, but now it's like, no, I want to keep wrestling.
This one's for Mr. Buckley. You know, you've been in RAF. You wrestled a match. You wrestled Pat Downey, and how was that? I'm right here, Drew. Drew Blogs. Yeah. Yeah, you wrestled Pat. How does that prepare you? Are you more prepared this time for a wrestling match against a guy like Mr. Woodley?
Well, you know, I'm full-time training, right, with my MMA and doing those things like that. But, you know, wrestling Pat Downey, I knew the experience where he was at, where the level he was at, you know what I mean? So I feel like this one right here is just a good matchup, you know what I mean? It's been a minute since he's been out there and competing, been a minute out there since he's been actually wrestling. So I feel like this is a good step up for myself to get a win.
Perfect, thank you. And then Mr. Woodley, you know, we saw some pictures on Instagram in the Missouri singlet. How good did that feel to be back putting on a Missouri singlet and reliving those days of wrestling in college, and now you're here on the biggest stage in the world?
I mean, it just reminded me that I deserved to put on the Missouri singlet. When I went to Missouri, it was kind of like the doormat of the Big 12 Conference. When people saw Missouri, they almost saw it as a bye. But me and my dogs went there, and we got it kind of cracking. And ever since then, it's been the top program. So, and also, if I would have threw that singlet on 2 months before, that belly would have been out. So it felt good just to feel like what it feels like to be in the singlet. Any of you fighters out there know when you wrap your hands with tape and gauze in practice, sparring is just different when you actually put on the competition equipment that you use in battle. So for me, it was just kind of that and just kind of clicking in there. And I haven't watched it yet. I don't know if you guys know. I know Aiden Sinclair's wrestling for the gold. He win it? Yeah, one time. I wrestled a 10-minute match with him last week. All I'm gonna say is that dude's different. So it just made me feel good to be able to get in there and compete and wrestle. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Question for Joaquin. Obviously, you're a rising guy in the welterweight division. You get a big fight coming up in Canada. But when you found out you were wrestling Tyron Woodley on this card, a guy you probably watched on your come up, what was your reaction to that?
My biggest reaction to that, you know, I mean, it's just like a full circle moment. You know, me being a young buck in St. Louis, and you know, me just starting off in my career, right? You know, I got to see, you know, one of the guys that I looked up to in Woodley, right, capture the title. You know what I mean? And I remember that day when he beat, Robbie Lawler. So, I feel like, just having this moment where we can be able to compete and kind of help each other out. You know what I mean? And really push our both our careers, to a further path. And I just think it's an awesome experience.
And then for you, Tyron, this is obviously an event after Ben Askren just competed, and I know you were in the building in Milwaukee. How much did Ben competing motivate you ahead of this matchup? What was that moment like for you watching Ben compete in Milwaukee?
I mean, Chad and Izzy will tell you that they've been trying to get me to wrestle for a bit, and wrestling is just so hard. Like, there's no boxing and MMA. It's like, I don't want to knock my own sports, but it's a joke compared to wrestling. And I said, man, I ain't wrestling, man. When I finished that, I was finished with that. And I just feel like if my dog had a double lung transplant and he can get out there and get back on that mat and wrestle, man, I'm getting my ass out there and wrestle. I got a son that needs me to be agile and get him ready for his senior year so he can have a great year. So those two things are really the whole reason why I'm up here wrestling.
Kennedy Blades, what is your reaction to seeing combat sports and freestyle wrestling take on this mainstream pop culture atmosphere due to things like RAF 12?
Yeah, I think it's amazing to see all these combat sports coming together. And like, I have an MMA fighter that I'm going to compete against tomorrow, and so I'm just really excited. I know she's a fighter, she's going to come at me, and I think it's just a beautiful thing that, wrestling, the sport of wrestling, it doesn't have to be so gruesome. It's really just going out there and taking what's yours, but having fun with it, right? So I think just seeing a lot of these big names coming into the wrestling world is huge for the sport, and it really gets a lot of people in the outside world into this mainstream audience. And so I think, again, it's amazing, and I can't wait to potentially wrestle someone who has a big name in the MMA world. So stay tuned. Hopefully we can get someone for me, because I know there's a lot of really good girls out there that are #1 in the world in MMA, so maybe I could wrestle against one of them.
All right, right here, we have a question here.
Tyron, question for you right here. So it's been 21 years since you All-American at Mizzou. In that time since, you've had a Hall of Fame UFC career. How do you think your knowledge and your skill set in the sport of wrestling has evolved since then?
I feel like you forget how many moves you know until you start back wrestling. So I forgot more moves than a lot of people know sometimes. And I think when I got back and I started training, one thing that I did the first day I accepted the match, I kind of broke down my opponent on what I think he's going to come towards me with and how I should go against him. In wrestling, you don't really get that luxury of really looking at one opponent. You practice to wrestle everyone. You know, these are how the Big 10 wrestlers wrestle. These are how the Big 12 wrestlers. You know what I mean? And you just kind of do and build skills. So I was able to actually game plan. And I feel like if you look at my MMA career, my biggest strength was game planning. I always knew what people thought of me. And I had to be honest. Like, if I was going to fight me, how would I beat me? So I kind of reverse game plan. So I know you guys, like, you're going against a wrestler, you're going against a grappler. Like, I'm using all that shit. I'm using grappling, wrestling. You know what I mean? Some of these moves that are jiu-jitsu moves are legal wrestling moves. So I feel like just, you know, even striking, just different angles and how you know, evade strikes, you can use all of that in wrestling. So I feel like it makes me more of a complete wrestler. And then, like I said before, I got out to Mizzou and I wrestled some of the young guns, and they just wrestled so different than we did. And you know, it helped me out. I got 2 or 3 good gyms that I think I'm gonna use on Saturday.
And then question for Joaquin right here, right in front of you. You've been putting a lot of emphasis on your wrestling recently, training with Kamaru, you know, putting yourself out there, wrestling at RAF. How has that process been for you, you know, being an athlete that you don't have that traditional wrestling background, but you're kind of getting into it more now?
Yet again, this is one of the hardest sports in the world, you know, and even just trying to figure it out and getting into a process of what my style is when it comes to grappling, right? I'm starting to just fall in love with the process a little bit more, you know. Both the losses that I had back in my UFC, you know, fights have all been due to, you know, wrestlers, right? And hold me down and not me being able to get up, you know. So, you know, I kind of thought about it, you know what I mean? Instead of, you know, struggling and being upset about it, you know, let me just focus more time and maybe just even use my pursuit and my offense, you know, be more explosive. If I would have been able to take those guys down, you know what I mean, maybe I could have turned the fight around. So, you know, we just changing the mindset up and we just focusing more on just one of the hardest disciplines to pretty much put down, which is wrestling.
Right here.
This one's for Kennedy. I'm Mike from Hustle Streams. You're 22 years old, you're an Olympic medalist. What would a championship in the RAF mean to your resume?
Yeah, I think, you know, RAF has become just as important to me as world and Olympic titles. And coming off of the NCAAs, having the first one for women's wrestling, it's just been very exciting. So just, I really see a huge thing with RAF, and with the 1-year anniversary, you know, I'm very excited to be here. And so I have the belt right now, but I plan to just keep it forever, like until I retire. So it's definitely just as important, you know, like every time I'm going into a match, I have the same mentality. But the best part is that, you know, it's literally just one match. Like, and Worlds and Olympics and, you know, even just a normal tournament, you have multiple matches. So, like, why not give it all you have and put on a show, like 100%. So that's what is special to me about RAF too. It's like, it's a huge thing. But honestly, when you shake the person's hand, it's because you want to go out there and win. But not just win, you want to dominate. So that's my mentality throughout this entire process. And like I said, RAF it means so much to me, and it's right up there with having Olympic gold medal, having a world title, and even the NCAA title.
Thank you, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We're going to go ahead and call up the next group.
What you about to say, man?
Yeah, man. My name is Mike from Hustle Streams, and honestly, wrestling has been kind of kicking your ass lately. With
that role right there, y'all gotta get a chill pill.
They're buddies.
They're
buddies. They're supposed to be buddies.
Yeah.
We're whooping your ass after this.
No, go ahead, Bill. What's up?
So, with Usman, in your words, humiliating you, do you honestly believe that this fight against Mr. Woodley you can win, or is this like more practice for wrestling in UFC?
Nah, so I'm gonna say this, right? The matchup is perfect for both of us, you know what I mean? And again, he been looking for that win, you know what I mean? And me, I've been struggling, but I've been working on my wrestling. I'm going out there to also go for that win. Like, I'm not just here to pick up a check. But I love what RAF is doing. I love what RAF is doing because they're giving us these opportunities where, you know, we can go out and we can really put our best foot forward, especially if, yet again, we're not fighting, we still competing, right? Which is keeping us fresh. But, you know, with RAF going on and then, you know, UFC, you know, BJJ and all these other opportunities, you know, I feel like there's other great opportunities out there for guys like myself, you know what I mean, to really, let's say, really show up my strengths, you know. But as of right now, RAF is showing me some love where I can work on my weakness and get a check for it, so it's a beautiful thing.
Yes, sir, man. Much respect to you and good luck.
Thank you guys so much. All right, group 5, Oshkosh Salkazanov, David Carr, Max McAnally, and Bo Nickel. All right, we'll go ahead and take questions. We got one here.
All right, Ryan, Max, I talked to you at the St. Louis RAF, and it's kind of going around that, great that you accepted this match, but to me, when I was talking to you, you were calling for this match. Tell me your thoughts. What do you see that you think you can expose on Bo, and this is a match that you wanted?
Yeah, for sure. This is a match that, he initially called me out for, and I accepted the challenge. And I'm just excited to go out there and put on a good performance and kind of show out for the crowd. I feed off of big crowds, and I think there's going to be a lot of people there tomorrow. So I think I can, attack the legs in all sorts of ways. So excited to show, what I can do and just have a fun time out there.
Appreciate you. This question's for Bo and for Max. Bo, you've been starching dudes on the White House lawn. Max, you guys are both world champions, age group world champions, U23, U20. Bo, what's the difference being here a year later after getting that win on the White House lawn, wrestling a guy like this that has just been dominating college wrestling and dominating international wrestling?
Yeah, for me, it's exciting to be able to compete against a young, up-and-coming tough dude who has accomplished a lot already. I think that when I look at my career, where I'm at, of course, coming into RAF and competing against guys that in a similar position to me, or maybe training, not full time would have been nice, but none of those people really want to compete against me. So, I'm having to compete against the young savages, and but I'm ready to go. So, for me, it's fun, it's exciting, and I think that even though I'm not competing in wrestling full time, I'm still one of the best guys in the world. So, looking forward to showcasing my skills.
Max, what does this mean for you if you're able to knock off a guy like Bo? Obviously he's having the come up he has with the UFC, but you're the young guy. What do you have for that?
Yeah, he's obviously doing his thing with the UFC, and he's a very accomplished wrestler and stuff. So it's cool to see to go up and wrestle an older guy who's done a lot of things in the sport. But I'm on the uprise right now, so I'm excited to go out there and kind of just show what I can do against one of the best.
Over here, question for the champ, Derek Carr. Sorry, David Carr. If the RAF had pound for pound rankings, where would you put yourself?
I don't know. I don't know.
Say what you think, bro.
Nah, I'm a humble guy, man. I just enjoy wrestling.
That's not what you said just right before you.
I didn't say nothing. But yeah, I just like to compete, man. I like to compete against the best. That's up to Izzy and everybody else to do the pound for pound stuff. So I just show up and compete, and I love competing.
Chad and Izzy, would you guys ever do that, pound for pound rankings?
Let me call Willie.
Wherever Willie's supposed to be doing it right now, but no, we're getting there. We're 1 year in.
Thank you.
We had a question over on that side.
Ohio Wrestling News and Events here, Jason. This is for David. You're back home. You're human. You're going to have some emotions being here. Can you share with us as you prepare for tomorrow night? How do you handle some of those emotions?
Yeah, I love Ohio. Wrestled in Ohio for a long time. I think it's a great state. Just a lot of my friends from high school, coaches, people are showing up. So I've been training hard. Want to put on a good show for them, and it's just really cool to be back in the home state of Ohio.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Juliana.
This question is for Sal Kazanov. You were sick on the last match and you didn't get a chance to compete. How are you feeling now, and what are your thoughts on your opponent, David Carr, and competing for the belt?
I'm feeling good, and I have good practice in Vladikavkaz, Ossetia, and I hope I win. My son, as I was living at my home, my son told me to bring the belt.
My question's for Bo. How would you compare the atmosphere of RAF and walking out compared to your time at Penn State?
I mean, the atmosphere at RAF is amazing. Obviously, the last time I competed was a year ago, and so I think it's going to be even better. You know, being a fan of the sport, watching all the shows, seeing the progress that the production and the company has made. I mean, it started off amazing, and it's only gotten better. So, you know, competing in front of big crowds is really, you know, one of the most exciting parts of the sport for me, and part of why I had initially, you know, transitioned over into MMA was the excitement of going out to compete. And so now with RAF, you know, it's a sold out crowd, 10,000 people. It's like unbelievable to be able to compete in front of crowds like that, and just yeah, my favorite part of my job.
Bo, when we had signed Sajalayev, you had been the first to raise your hand and say that you wanted to compete against him. After watching him in Georgia, what were your thoughts about the match with him and Kyle Snyder, and is that still something in the future that you would see yourself competing against?
Yeah, I mean, it was a great match. I think, you know, obviously the ending is unfortunate for Sajalayev. Hope he's back and healthy and 100%. I was super pumped for Kyle to be able to get that win and prove that he's top in the world. And, you know, I want to compete against anybody and everybody. So Sajalayev is definitely a guy on my radar. Got a lot of guys in RAF on my radar that I'd like to compete against. You know, not a lot of people accepting the matches, but you know, I'm focused on Max right now. I think he thinks he's going to beat me, right? For sure. Okay, that's good. I like that. I like that. So yeah, focused on Max right now, but there's a lot of fun matches for me in the future.
You mentioned that, and I know you're focused on Max, Bo, but for a brief moment in time, your good friend Colby Covington was competing on this card. Is there a part of you that's bummed that you didn't get the opportunity to kind of get one back at him at a press conference after what happened in January?
Of course, man. Of course. You know, I think that with Colby, it's just so tough because I think everybody knows in this room that it would really be a lamb led to slaughter competing against me. So it's just kind of an unfortunate situation where if, you know, he were to take the match, everybody kind of knows what's up. So it would be a little bit of a, you know, just a public execution. So, you know, maybe he'll man up and accept it at some point. Maybe he won't. I'm not really too worried about it, but yeah, it would be fun.
All right, great. Do we have any more questions? All right, awesome. We're going to bring up the next group on co-main event. Sean Brady and Jordan Burroughs. Woo! Okay, great. We'll get started right here. Go ahead. You can stand.
Jordan, this is a unique matchup for you. Sean Brady doesn't have the traditional wrestling background, obviously one of the best UFC welterweights on the planet. What challenges do you think that presents to you, given that he doesn't have that traditional wrestling background, but he's a very accomplished grappler?
Yeah, I think he's, it's gonna be a big matchup. You know, someone asked Tom Brady which of his rings was the most important, and he said his next one. Right, and so when people ask me about what's my most important match or the championship that I care about the most, I think it's the next one. I'm excited about this matchup. It's been almost 2 years since I've competed. I've got 5 kids at home, I've got a wrestling club, and a lot of responsibility. He's younger, he's bigger, he's stronger, and he's currently competing. So I'd say this is one of the biggest matches of my career, if not the biggest.
And you've always said before you retire, you want to have just one MMA fight. Is that still something that you are considering, especially given you're, you know, competing against one of the best MMA fighters in the world?
No, that ship sailed for me. That ship sailed for me. I think, you know, it's always been intriguing. I think my skills would translate really well to MMA, but it's new, and it's filled with savages and a lot of individuals who are extremely competitive. I think the sport's grown. When I first started watching MMA back when my career on Team USA started, it was a bunch of guys that were leaving other disciplines to just get started. Now guys are growing up planning to become fighters. And so I think the skills are a lot more complex and diverse, and it's starting to spread worldwide. I've wrestled a lot of Russians. I wouldn't want to fight them.
And then one last question for you, Sean. You're one of the most dangerous grapplers in the UFC, but this is under a wrestling rule set, so a lot of what makes you dangerous does not exist, so the ground and pound, the submissions. So how is that kind of approached mentally, just knowing that a lot of your best weapons are you're not going to be able to use them?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a traditional wrestling background, but I grapple and wrestle every single day. You know, that's a big thing that me and my team do is we do MMA every day, and wrestling's a huge part of that, and grappling's a huge part of wrestling. Like I said, I don't have a traditional background, but I'm grappling every day. I'm grappling with high-level guys, and yeah, I think it just presents something different. Obviously, I'm not a traditional wrestler, so my style is going to be a lot different than other people's, and that's what I think is going to make this matchup fun.
Can we have one here?
This question's for Sean. I also have a question for Jordan. Drew Blogs here. Sean, you're a popular guy right now. Andrew Tackett just retained his UFC BJJ belt last night. He called you out.
Tom Brady, though. He said Tom Brady.
Yeah, Tom Brady. But how do you juggle all of this, you know, going from one thing to the next and keeping the focus?
Yeah, I mean, this is an awesome opportunity. Obviously, I had a fight in May, and then I got my managers, and I was talking to these guys, and I've been trying to get a match for RAF. I think they were trying to get me on the Milwaukee card. And then they called me about wrestling Jordan Barber. So, of course, I said, yeah. Like, it's a lot of people are looking at me like I'm crazy, but I get punched and kicked and kneed for a living, you know. So wrestling is obviously, it's super hard sport, but it's an amazing opportunity just to go against Jordan. And then I just had a fight announced, so I'm hoping I have this match. I'm going to fight, win my fight, and then I want to come back for these guys. So I want to compete as much as possible, and it's just been fun, just learning traditional wrestling because I've never done it, and it's something I definitely want to do a lot more.
Love it. Jordan, last time we saw you compete, 2024, and since then your son has gotten a little bit older. You've got the club, you've got a new wrestling room. I think people have always, they're wondering, like, is he done? But here you are, and what does it mean to have your son, he's a little bit older, he gets to be in your corner and train alongside him now?
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. You know, that was one of the things that sold me about RAF. These guys have been knocking at my door for a long time, right, since RAF won.
We talked about it at Fargo.
And, you know, I was skeptical. I'm gonna be completely transparent. I was skeptical about the organization. I've seen a lot of professional leagues fall and fail and try hard and invest a lot of resources, ended up wasting them with no continuity. And so this was one of the few that's actually been sustainable, and not only the length of time, but more so what they've been able to create in that year. It's been really special. And so I kind of stood off on the sidelines and watched them grow and continue to work hard and watch the caliber of competition that they started to put together and also the guys that they signed, and I thought that this was for me. So my son, he's gonna be wrestling in Next Gen tomorrow. I've got about 25 of our athletes that came all the way out from New Jersey that will be competing this weekend in the kids wrestling tournament, which is really sweet. I'm excited about. My son's gonna be alongside me. He comes with me everywhere I go, right? If you see me, you likely see my family somewhere close by. So it's become a family thing for me. You know, I echo the sentiments of Johnny to Julius, except I'm gonna say it in the kids pop version, right? I freaking love this stuff, right? It's just the nature of the game for me. I've been in this sport since I was 6 years old. And when I left the World Championships in Albania in 2024, I didn't leave my shoes on the mat. I knew I wasn't finished, and I knew there was more within me. I just had to try to figure some things out behind the scenes. I was creating some opportunities for myself and developing some other outlets that were going to be sustainable beyond my career. And now I feel like I'm in a good place where I can come back and start to compete again.
Right, Jordan, Anton Payne. So I've chased you all around the world and watched you wrestle, and you're a hungry man right now. I see in your training videos, you remind me of Rocky Balboa, right? And you just said something, you didn't put your shoes anywhere.
Yep.
Is this the start to the next chapter of something big, or are you just here to do this for the kids?
Come on, Anton.
You know I was gonna ask.
You know, I love wrestling. I love wrestling. I love competing. And to be honest, stepping away there was beauty in it, because I got to recognize pieces of myself that I never really got the chance to spend time within, because I had never been operating within obscurity and silence. Since I graduated from college in 2011, I've just been traveling the world with a laser focused mindset. I wake up each morning, try to be the best wrestler in the world. How can I become better today? So last 2 years, I've invested a lot of time in my family, a lot of time in my community, and a lot of time in personal growth and development, trying to figure out what's next. But the one thing that kept knocking at my heart was I wanted to compete again. And there's not a lot of places you can do that, right? This is special. This is special. It creates an opportunity for people like me, but also for this next generation to aspire toward. And so, I don't know. We'll see. I think I'm taking it a match at a time. But I like wrestling. So there's a lot of people that I'd like to wrestle. I think I'm going to Moscow in just a couple of weeks to wrestle on September 5th against Kurbanaliyev, and I'd like to wrestle again soon.
Izzy, you have the greatest American wrestler sitting next to you of all time. At what point do you tell Khabib to get with the program?
You know, Jordan wasn't lying about us kind of, targeting him and going after him. I have a cool picture of me grabbing Jordan before he snuck in the elevator at the NCAA's, and I was just kind of pulling on him. And, it's just inspiring to get not only Jordan, but there's 5 Olympic champs on this card. There's just so many great wrestlers. I think Khabib knows exactly what we're doing, and just like him, just like Gable, just like Jordan, we'd love to have him, and it's his choice, right? It's their choice on what they want to do, but if they want to compete in the big show, we'd love to have him.
Question in the back for Sean. How you doing, Sean? Welcome to RAF. I guess the big question for me is, we kind of got your reaction about being able to wrestle against Jordan Burroughs, but if you somehow go out there and pull this off on Saturday, is this like the biggest win of your combat sports career? Where does this rank if you're able to pull off this massive upset against Jordan?
Yeah, I mean, just like Jordan said, the next one's always the best one. So obviously, I'm competing tomorrow night, and I'm taking it very seriously. I'm coming to win. I know a lot of people don't expect me to. Obviously, I could go out there and get teched in 30 seconds, but yeah, the next one's the biggest one. After this, I have a MMA fight, and then the next RAF match will be the next big one. So I'm always trying to win. I'm a competitor, and I'm definitely coming to win.
Question right here. Kirk from the Brady Bags, what's up, brother?
What's up, my
Thank
brother?
you for once again bringing me to a room that I do not qualify for, so thank you for being here. But yo, bro, this is your first time wrestling, so this is first time putting on a singlet, and then we have plenty of talks. I'm just trying to figure out, do you understand why now I didn't wear that thing back in high school, and I would never do it?
I think the singlet's pretty comfortable. I'm probably going to start doing my grappling practices in it.
Got you. And my fight, man, if you tell me don't do it, but I still do it. You go out here, you beat Jordan Burroughs, you become the greatest wrestler of all times. Have you processed where you go?
Whoa. One night?
He tells me don't do it. Jordan, you keep what you kill. Look, you go out here, you become an Olympian, right? You pull this off like this guy said. Have you processed where would you even go from here if you continue to try and do this?
Rematch. If he pulls it off, we're wrestling right away.
If I beat Jordan, we gotta go to jiu-jitsu. We have to modify the rules a little bit. No. Man, if I pull this off, it will be huge. But I want to wrestle Kobe. I want to wrestle MMA guys too. So, but I'm down to compete against anybody. Obviously, taking this match against Jordan, it's going to the highest level. And you win, you lose in the room. You win, you lose in the sport. And I think for me, just getting out there and competing is the biggest thing, and just having fun. And like Jordan said, doing this for the next generation. I didn't wrestle growing up, but I want my daughter to be in the sport. Hopefully, I have a son one day. I want them to wrestle, so I want there to be another avenue for these kids.
Dude, I think that would be special. Hey, who's rooting for Sean here tomorrow night?
Yeah!
All right, cool.
Who's rooting for Jordan?
I tell you what, I walked into the wrestling room yesterday, and he was practicing with no shoes on. And so I've never seen that before. So I was thoroughly impressed. I tell you what, my wife and I, we were looking for tattoo parlors tonight so I can go and get some more ink before tomorrow.
We'll talk after the match. I'll hook you up. But I had no wrestling shoes on because wrestling shoes I got fat feet. So I'm trying to find shoes that fit my fat feet. So yeah, that's why.
Hey, also, one more thing. This is, you guys put us on the same flight. Right? You put us on the same flight. I walk when I get to the gate, I see Sean standing at the gate. I'm like, and so it's one of the things that's unique too, and it was cool. Just a quick story time before we move on to the next round. But in wrestling, there's a unification there, right? Because in the UFC, you never see your opponent. You never see your opponent until you step into the octagon. Right? You got your own luxury, your own training room, your own warm-up space, and then you walk into the octagon when they lock the doors the first time you see your opponent. But in wrestling, it's always tight-knit vicinity. You're really close. You got one warm-up mat. You got every country, Russia, Iran, Azerbaijan, USA. You're all side by side. And so it was funny last night. Sean, he comes up and he asks, like, hey, is it okay if we come into the wrestling room at the same time as you guys to come and train? And we were like, yeah, absolutely. This is kind of what we do. But it was an immense showing of respect. I have tremendous respect for you, Sean. Thank you for taking on this match, and it's going to be exciting now.
Thank you, brother. Let's do it.
Thank you guys so much. All right, we're going to bring up the main event. We have Henry Cejudo and Merab Dvalishvili. And just a reminder, after this group, we will move into the face-offs, so please stay in your seats for the face-offs. All right, we'll take the first question.
This question's for Triple C. Henry, you were in Georgia, and you were like one leg lace away from finishing this guy. What does it feel like after that? And now you get the shot on your home turf in America, wrestle a guy like this, like the Tasmanian Devil. He's like the Energizer Bunny. What do you got to do this time though to like finish the job?
Maybe not go out to eat and drink wine with Merab tonight. What'd you put in my drink, Merab? I'll be. You know, I was talking to Chad about this. Like, dude, the atmosphere in Georgia, it was crazy, man. It was crazy, and I think, man, Merab went out there. He hand fought me. He hand fought the crap out of me. I was trying to stay low because that's typically how I wrestle. I was trying to get on my knees to shoot. I forgot the rules. You got to kind of come up. Like, they don't let you kind of wrestle on the knees no more as much. And there's a lot of things that he did right that I did wrong. And dude, he got the victory. I mean, it sucked, you know. But at the same time, I was telling Chad, I was like, yeah, I did lose, but man, did wrestling win? And you know, I was able to congratulate Merab after the match. I was like, bro, if you're able to take me out like that, dude, I gotta show my respect. But now he's in my territory. Now he's in the US of A, and you know, it's my turn.
Don't worry, my Mexican people are coming for me. They're gonna support me, bro.
Merab, what do you have to do this time to change? Is there a game plan change, or is it the same game plan, just go out there, attack against this guy?
We'll see how wrestling match will go. My first goal will be don't lose the points beginning, and maybe I will get some points beginning. But we'll see how wrestling will go. I don't know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Henry in the back. I was the one that asked that question to Chad and Izzy earlier that seemed to kind of get you riled up. Bald, shiny man in the back, all the way in the back. Well, the reason I asked that question was because I did see a social media clip of you talking about the match and how upset you were. So I kind of want to get their perspective on it. But you've had losses. The Demetrius Johnson one, you came back and got it. What was that? How mad were you? How upset were you? How taken aback were you with that loss of Merab? And where would this rank if you're able to get this one back compared to the Demetrius Johnson one?
Yeah, well, to be quite frank, I think the Demetrius Johnson one hurt a little bit more physically too. But I think with this one, I think something about me, dude, like even if I do lose, I'm gonna go out there and give whatever it is that I have. And unfortunately, that's what I had that night. You know, so I'm content with that. I'm not even necessarily I'm able to. I was listening to Ben Askren's speech that he was talking about pride and humility, and me and my wife were talking about it. And I thought it was super cool, man, when I heard that little thing from after losing. I'm just like, man, it takes a pair of balls, man, to go out there, you know, and actually compete and, you know, put your name on the line. Because, yeah, I did win the Olympics 18 years ago as of a couple days ago, August 19th. I mean, they can have a damn 18-year-old right now, you know. If I was a real Mexican Marab, you know. And, you know, it's just cool to do what the reality is, man, I am super happy with Real American Freestyle. Like, yeah, you guys are catching me at the tail end of my career. There has been some inconsistencies with me. I love business. I do a lot. And, you know, with wrestling, it doesn't matter who you are or what you've done. If you're not 100% in it, anybody will beat you. Fuck, they all lost to Marab. You know, and he's a machine. And he went out there, man, in the spirit of the Georgian people, man. Like, bro, like if you guys were there, you guys would be like, dude, you felt that wave. And but like I said, man, this time around, you're in my country, and you're going down.
And then for you, Marab, look, you're a very busy guy right now. You've been waiting for this opportunity to compete for the bantamweight title, to try to get one back against Petr Yan. But before that happens, you get to run this back with Henry. All the way in the back, Marab. All the way in the back. There you go. How fun is it to be this active again? Because, yeah, you were so busy last year. Now it feels like things are starting to move a little bit better. To go from Henry to Petr, how excited are you to keep this train moving?
Thank you for the question. Yeah, this is really important for me to be active. Thank RAF to keep me busy, and yeah, and I'm trying to get better even wrestling, and yeah, stay busy mentally, physically. This is good for me, and like just 2 days ago when I start preparation for Henry, I was thinking, why I'm doing this? I already beat this guy. Now he has a big chance to beat me. So. But I like challenges, and if you beat me, I need my trilogy. Okay, Henry.
You know that I think yeah, of course, 100%. Okay. You know, that's all Chad and Izzy have to do. Just call me. How much? It's funny because I was actually getting ready for the fight with Dina Grace. I wasn't even planning on. If you guys don't know, I got a big boxing match coming up, so I was kind of getting ready for that. So I was already kind of losing weight. And like right after the Georgia thing, I just started training like now for another sport. So when they called and they said, "Hey man, we need somebody to, you know, would you be willing to do it again?" I'm just like, dude, I want to. But obviously I got to prioritize too, like the boxing stuff. So I've been kind of mixing them both. I was able to, you know, do my training camp in Amsterdam, New York with Anthony Constantino. And he's running for New York Mayor 21 for all you guys right there, what guy in the ready. Guys, please give him a hand, please. He's trying to America, you know, he's helping out America, doing a lot. And, you know, he was able to host me for a whole month and a half after Georgia. That's how I've been doing. So if you guys notice, I'm even leaner, lighter. Like I'm waking up at 155 pounds. So. You know, it was good humbling pie that I got, and you know and that's the reason why I love wrestling. No matter what you've done, your inconsistency, you will pay.
We're all question over here to your right, right here.
Okay, thank you.
You're 2-0 against Henry now, 1-0 MMA, 1-0 wrestling. Yet here we are again. What is it about Henry as a competitor that makes you keep going back?
I mean, when we met first time in fight,
Can I almost knocked you out too, Marab, in that first round.
Hey, but almost doesn't count. And then maybe people don't remember the first round you win. You beat me first round. You take me down, keep me down. But yeah, I came back. Yeah, so. Yes, so this UFC make us to fight, and he was my opponent. That was my opponent to move forward, and I moved forward. After Henry, I fought for the belt. Now, yeah, I beat him in wrestling, and now I think Henry was the who called me out, who wants to rematch in wrestling, and I accepted. Like I said, I like challenges, and it's my honor to be here, like with many great wrestlers wrestling this card, and yeah, I'm grateful, I'm blessed, and I'm learning, and yeah, that's it.
And then one last question for you, Henry. Just like you said, you nearly finished him in your fight. In that last wrestling match, you nearly finished it in the first period. Yeah, he's come back both times. So what adjustments are you making for this match so that doesn't happen?
Yeah, I know you guys gotta tune in tomorrow. Fox Nation streaming live. You guys make sure to subscribe. All right, come on, Chad.
Oh, Henry. Cole Hibner, Beyond the Mat Wrestling. Henry, if you lose this match tomorrow, is it time to hang up the wrestling shoes?
There's no losing tomorrow, man. Rob, we're gonna have a trilogy. So, dude, what's up with these dudes? Like, you're gonna get socked, dude. All you got. T-Wood, dude. But I like it. I like the cringe, dude.
I'm a good wrestler now. If you lose against me, that's okay, bro. I'm a good wrestler.
All right, we have
I'm not somebody.
But what I will say this too about Marab, it is very smart of him. That fight with him and Peter Yan coming up, Marab's gonna do exactly what he did to him the first match. Like he is. I could tell, man. If you're wrestling, you put in the dedication, the time to this. It was huge. And I think even when we fought and you fought Sean O'Malley, like bro, you were working your wrestling because you knew you had to fight me too. So I think there's somehow I'm helping this dude win world titles in some ways.
Thank you for your advice.
All right, we have time for one more question here in the front.
Rob, I got a question. What's a better daily driver, a G-Wagon or the couch scooter?
It's a couch scooter, bro.
Why?
Second?
Why?
Oh, because I feel, I always look around, make sure not police following me. Luckily, police don't pull me over yet. Even sometimes I drive on the strip, and it's fun. It's fun, and it's something unique.
Keeps us entertained. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys, thank you so much. Respectful stage for the face-offs, please.